It's just my really, really tall grass. Yeah. Hi guys, it's Alisha Costanzo. Welcome back to my channel. I am doing the Author Newbie Tag 2.0 today, and I believe that's Jenna Streety. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an Authortube expert yet, so. I liked the 2.0 one because the first one I filmed like 3 or 4 times, and I get a little preachy and a little ranty about certain things, and I figured that's just not good. I'm weird enough as it is, and opinionated enough as it is. So I thought I'd do this one because I really like the idea of pitching, although I've never actually pitched before. So, question number 1 is, what's your book's pitch? And if you have multiple works, choose your favorite. Well, the one that I am currently working on, that I'm doing the edit with me's with, that I did the Camp NaNoWriMo with, was Project Inferno. It's Blood Phoenix Inferno, book 4 of the Broken World series, and Ria's book series. I have all other books that are in the series that are either short stories or one-offs, or I have a couple serials that are going on too, so I've got a lot of fun stuff. Anyways, I could probably talk about that for a really long time. That's not what I'm here for. So as pitches go, blurb's the best thing I've got for it, so that's what I'm going to read to you guys. And it says, drawing the Scarlet Queen to Central New York's training grounds, Ria's remarkable blood triggers negotiations between 2 kingdoms. Ria questions her own humanity when she finds herself aligned with Faerie, the vampire queen, a woman who's tortured her and her friends for months. As all of her secrets unravel around her, Ria is forced to conform or sacrifice the people she loves. If she doesn't find a way to break their alliance, the balance of the universe will plunge deeper into chaos, and no one will be safe. So, pitching and blurbing is really hard. It is hard to wrap up 54 chapters, 95,000 words into a couple of sentences, 250 words or less. I mean, that is quite ridiculous, and I hope I captured the ideas that are going on in there, but there's so much I could have spilled. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's not I'm rambling again. So let's go on to question 2. If you were a book, how would you pitch yourself? And I have the luxury of having written several resumes and being an English teacher, learning how to pitch people in a certain light. So I actually have a pitch that I use for my cover letters, and this pretty much wraps me up as a person. A real quirky woman with a flair for words. Alisha Costanzo is an English professor, an editor-in-chief and business manager, a published author, and a wife of a 100% disabled veteran, who spends her time dissecting language, improving clarity and communication, writing informative blog posts, creating websites, researching, cooking, lifting weights, and a whole other bucket of geeky activities that she finds fun. Yeah, pretty much all of me right there in any paragraph, and that's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Does it look like it's gonna storm? It kind of looks like it's windy, like it's gonna storm. So I better get through this before I get rained on with my precious electronics. Number 3, what do you usually write? Well, I write a lot of dark fantasy, urban fantasy, paranormal romance, erotica, and memoir, which is what I used for my master's, because they wouldn't take my vampire novel. But that's okay. I learned a lot of things from that, working with who I worked with. I like to say that I write horror, but it's mostly vampires and werewolves, and there is a lot of gore. I do like to spill a lot of blood and kill a lot of people. So I guess horror would be in the mix of that too. Which leads us, of course, to number 4, what's something that you will never write? And I don't want to say never, because you can't predict the type of inspiration that you're going to find, or something that's going to fascinate you, to make you change your mind. And by that I mean me. But the things that I haven't enjoyed writing so far have been literary fiction, hard science fiction, because I really don't have the science background, and poetry. I've written a few poems. I've enjoyed writing the few poems that I've written, but it's just not my medium. I am a storyteller in a sense that I need room to grow, and although my mentor in my MFA, Alison Hedgecock, she wrote like a 40-something page poem, which was the story of her experiencing the plague. And yeah, for real, this woman, incredible life. I am glad I got to share her life for the little while that I had her in mine. So, but I know that she could do it. It's not something I'm very practiced at. It's not my main focus. I've just recently been able to keep myself down to short stories, and shorter of the short stories, because usually even my short stories bordered on novella. So I'm not really focusing in that area. Number 5, what is your goal for starting an Authortube channel? I have my notes because I'm ridiculous like that, like a teacher. I have a few goals for this Authortube channel. One is something I've heard a lot of people say, which I'd never really thought of before, and that's documenting my journey. I've seen myself grow in the series alone that I've been writing since I was 17. Excuse me. Which is 18 years. I finally finished my first book in 2013, I think it was. And even since then, working with Anthony, my business partner, and a ton of authors who also help me grow and see new things that people do and experiment, and discussing things like, well, I have a preference for this, and you have a preference for this. Can we find something that makes us both mutually happy? Or I like to allow them to keep their own control over their story and just try to make it better rather than make it mine. And that's a struggle for me because I'm a control freak. The idea of documenting this type of thing as a communication major, which was one of my first degrees, one of the 3, and I don't know, it's just fascinating to watch. One, how I'm going to progress on camera. First of all, I think I'm getting better at this a little bit. I finally got this set up so I'm not shaking you, holding you for this kind of thing, and even though I'm not inside my house because my husband's in there and I feel really uncomfortable talking in front of him still, I'm trying to let that go, and that's an interesting part of the journey that I plan on taking. Something else that I'm really interested in is getting to know the authors. I've missed that since my MFA. Actually being in class with writers. I mean, I'm in class with my students, and some of them enjoy writing and reading, but it's not the same as people who are writing a novel alongside you, or short stories alongside you, and having the same struggle of deadlines, and not being an expert, and not even knowing where to find how to start, how to get through it in a couple weeks to write a short story to submit for classes. It was quite a bonding experience, and we got to dissect each other's stuff and give feedback and stand up for each other and cry with each other and be mad with each other about some of the comments that we received. It was a humbling experience, and a lot of cool people got to meet through that. So I'm hoping for that type of thing here, and it's a lot different. I am a lot more reserved online than I am in person, which I don't know if that's weird or not. Like, I am a big TMI person in real life. I'm sure my students know this about me. I talk about the most random things that they're like, why are you telling us this? You're our teacher. And I'm sure I do that on here too a little bit, but I'm not. Like comments, I always overthink commenting on other people's videos. That, oh, it sounds forced, or you sound stupid, or so many other people have already said that, why are you saying that too? Who the hell are you to say that? Stop trying to talk to these people like they're your friends, they have no idea who you are, you've just been watching their videos for a while. So, I'm trying to get over that too and actually engage. I find it much easier in my own stuff, but I'm still that awkward, kind of cardboardy person, and that bothers me. So, the hair, it's everywhere. I'm hoping that I can get comfortable enough to start doing those things and engaging with people who are in this community and actually being able to call them my friends, because we do engage, or even internet friends. I've had plenty of internet friends that I've met in real life that I've had a blast with, and some that have just stayed on the internet, and that's also fine. I have 15 years in running with that kind of thing. Anyways, get to babbling. See, the last thing that I'm really interested in is sharing my knowledge of the craft and helping others where I can, and that makes me feel so cocky, because I know I'm not the only English teacher here. I'm not the only person who has publishing experience. I do run a publishing company, and I have mentored a lot of authors, hundreds of authors. I've had up to, what was our highest one, 72, 74 stories in a single anthology, and which is hard to manage, but fun as hell. It's crazy. A lot of different personalities, and I've just met a lot of people that even that we're all writers and we're all have different skill sets that we can all learn from each other. And I find that fascinating, and I'd love to share my experience if that helps anybody. I'm not uber successful. I've seen a slow increase in sales and visibility and all those other things, but I'm hoping I can share some of that with you guys. More so, everybody's journey is different, because it really is, and I don't know. Yeah, it was sharing. Alright, my battery's gonna die on this thing. I better get on with things. Okay, number 6. What made you want to start writing? And a lot of people say that they started when they were young, and yeah, I'm one of those people too. But to put it in perspective, I had 67 imaginary friends by the time I was in kindergarten, and each of them had their own backstory, and we did things together. And you pair that with the 200 plus fan fiction scripts that I wrote when between 12 and 17, that I'm pretty sure are gone now. I think I might have a few of them. Some of them got transferred to computer, but not a whole lot of them, because we didn't have computers and shit like this when I was young. But it turned into something real after I read Christopher Pike's last vampire series. That really inspired me to write about vampires. Made me dive into the vampire genre and to learn about the historical context behind vampires and the different myths and lores that we had and the religious representations that happened in it. And I've written papers about this and presented at conferences about vampire literature being viable for academia if it's done smart. I hate that people will read something of mine and go, oh, there's vampires, there's werewolves, and there's fairies. This is the same thing as the Sookie Stackhouse. I can't remember what the heck that TV show is called. I'll remember it later and put it up here. But it bothers me so much. It is not the same. It is not the same at all if you know the nuances of that part of the genre, of that subgenre, of that niche, which is my niche. So, okay. Get passionate about things again. But yes, I've always wanted to be a writer. It's just, I think it's who you are. You know, an inkling somewhere inside that that's what you want to do. If you write, you're a writer. Number 7. What's your publishing path? So self-published, traditional publish, hybrid, haven't decided yet, or just write for fun? And well, currently I self-publish through my publishing company, Transmundane Press. And I have plans for a series that I want to traditionally publish. I'm always open to spreading out to other indie publishers as well with different ideas that I have. So I'm all about the hybrid. And it's funny because it's very fitting to my characters. They're all hybrids. So I'm a big hybrid publisher. And I say that I self-publish because even though I own the publishing company, I'm publishing my own stuff. So I'm self-publishing, although I'm an indie publisher. If that makes sense. That's an argument and a rant for another video. 8. What content did you bring to the Authortube table? I have been editing and publishing since 2009. And of course grading papers since 2011. My focus is on cleaning up language while polishing creativity and originality. In my words, I write better than I speak, right? Since I'm juggling 3 jobs and a crazy household, I can offer some advice about carving out time to write, plotting, planning, revising, editing, and marketing, of course, at least to a degree. And how to find content and interact with freelancers. Although I'm not really a big fan of making advice videos, I might do some of those. I do have a few ideas about navigating the industry of professionals from an editor's perspective. And I, of course, also have some paranormal did you know posts that are really popular on my blog that I might create a couple of videos for as well. I think that might be interesting. Mostly it's going to be vlog-centered content because I'm focusing on the documentation rather than so much the advice giving. I'd rather save that for comment for specific questions instead of just saying, this is the end-all be-all of the advice that I've got for you. No, everybody writes differently. Everybody's process is different. That's why I conference with my students. I'd rather interact with you one-on-one than give you a blanket video of just what works for me, because that might not work for you. And you can find what works for me by watching me do it and talk about it, right? But anyway, that's my take on that. Number 9, what is your biggest writing struggle? Process-wise, I'm a slow writer. It takes me at least 6 months to get from the first word on the page to the last one at least, and then another like 6 months of editing and stuff like that, unless I push myself like I currently am. At least that's how much it should take me. So it's usually about a year per book. That sucks. But content-wise, world building and scene bothers me. I'm a drop of detail kind of person, but I feel like I leave people floating, or very internal. I'm a very internal writer rather than an external writer. So I think that's my big problem. I love dialogue. That's probably my favorite thing to write, but that's not the question. Oh, that's the next question. Yes. Number 10, what's your best writing skill? Like I just said, dialogue. I love the quirky, quippy back and forth that people can have, especially friends or lovers that are in a fight. Especially when there's a semi-big bad. He's not quite, or she is not quite the big bad, but has a lot of attitude because they want to be the big bad, and they're battling with somebody who is not frightened by them, and so the back and forth between them is probably one of my favorite things to write, which is humor. I like to write snarky, sarcastic humors because I'm a snarky, sarcastic. And the other thing, of course, is internalization. I can internalize really well, be in the moment, actually express what it's like to be experiencing what my characters are, which is what I appreciate in other people's writing most. So that's one of the biggest things that I've been working on for a long time. It says, choose between the next two questions. Have you been on YouTube for a while? I have, but not on Authortube. I've been doing Plan With Me videos for a while, which were touch and go for a little while. I've done excerpt videos. I do story trailers for my authors. I did a dorky readings and bloopers series, which I'm thinking about bringing back up, doing the first 10 or 15 chapters of each of my books up there. But I am new to Authortube. I'm relatively new. I've only been doing this for a little while, since June or July. I'm going to choose 12, which is, what is my biggest Authortube question? And I, of course, want to know how to grow more comfortable on camera. When should I buy a new one? I'm using my mom's old iPhone 6 because my phone doesn't have internet on it, but my actual phone. But yeah, I know it's just practice. It's probably just practice, but that's my biggest concern, is how to get more comfortable, especially when other people are around, and when to buy a new camera. I've thought about it. I've not pressed buy, and I've quite a few of them. So, 2 more questions. Number 13, are you looking for any new channels to follow, betas, CPs, or any other type of writing buddies? If so, tell us who you're looking for and connect with them in the comments. I would love to connect with you guys in the comments. So, I am always looking for new channels to watch. I consume quite a bit since I work a lot from home, even though I probably shouldn't. I would also really love some writing buddies. That's, again, one of the purposes of my channel that I mentioned before, is actually being able to connect with people. And again, I do that better in the comments than I feel like I can do on here. I can just kind of show you who I am and hope you find something either entertaining, that you learn something, or you just appreciate a fellow weirdo, because I certainly am that. And of course, I'm always looking for beta readers. I'm actually currently looking for beta readers for the book that I am almost done editing. Now, it's the 4th in a series, so I would offer the first 3 for free as well, so that they make sense. But I am looking for betas. If I manage to come across a critique partner, I would love another one of those. I only have room or time for 1 or 2 of them a year, honestly, because that's what I do for a living, is critique people's work anyways. So we would just really have to click, I think, as writers in fundamental ways. I've had critique partners that I have not meshed well with because we just didn't get each other, and that's fine. Last question. Number 14. What are you most excited for during this new start on Authortube? I'm looking forward to learning something new about myself. I'm not expecting people to flock to my channel. I know that one, it's a little narcissistic, and 2, it's just not realistic. As somebody who's been working in this industry for a while, I know that the romanticized, you publish something, you put something out there and people just flock and love you, does not happen to most of us. Instead, I'm looking, again, forward to interacting with other people, with being a part of a community when I do finally make some friends on here. I was told that doing live write-ins is the way to go, and I might be able to get to that at some point during the summer, or maybe even December, but ooh, a Christmas writing session. I might be one of the only people who's up for that, but that sounds like a fun time. Anyways, those are the answers to my questions for the Authortube Newbie Tag 2.0. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you like my channel, and I try to publish a new video every week. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes there's 2 a week, but I'm trying to be consistent with a week around Mondays. I'm trying. I miss this Monday. And I will see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.